Hello, Jack here. I haven't updated a video in a really long time. I think my last video was about a year ago. That's what it says on the YouTube channel anyway. Somewhere around a year ago, maybe even more than a year ago. And that's a huge stereotype among trans men, maybe trans women too, I don't know. But we start YouTube channels, and we get really excited, and we go through all these changes while we're like 2-3 months on hormones, maybe a year on hormones, for some of us even 2 years on hormones, and then we just sort of drop off the face of the planet because we lose interest. And my reasons for not doing videos are probably typical. The first one is that I don't notice changes that readily anymore. They sneak up on me, and I'll talk a little bit about what changes I have noticed later. Number two, I've been going through a lot of stress due to having graduated from school number 2, degree number 2. I'm still working on degree number 3. There's 2 more classes that I gotta finish, but there's a lot of stress in my life and a lot of depression due to a wide variety of factors that I don't really feel the need to get into now. And number 3, my old videos really embarrass me, and I've actually put a few on private just because I don't want to be associated with the things that I said in them. I mean, I own the fact that I said them and everything, but they're not things that I'd rather be the things associated with me. Anyway, since YouTube is such an important avenue for young trans men to learn about the process of testosterone if they choose to go on it, and other things, I'll give you an update today, focusing on the physical things that have been happening. Right now I'm 2 years and 4 months on testosterone, about a little bit over 2 years and 4 months. I still haven't had any surgery, and I don't see that happening for a while just because of income issues, although it's really not a big deal for me right this second. As I mentioned in one of my last videos, I have secondary polycythemia, which is a reasonably common side effect of testosterone replacement therapy, and it means that your body makes more red blood cells than it can get rid of. It's potentially life-threatening if you don't take care of it, but it's reasonably easy to deal with. All you need to do is have blood taken out every once in a while, and most of us can just go give blood every once in a while, and we're fine. So I got my red blood cell count down to what was a reasonable level the last time I had my blood checked. I actually need to set up an appointment for my yearly testosterone physical, but we'll see. Maybe I'll tell you if something horrible happens then. So far it seems like nothing has, other than the secondary polycythemia, which I'm dealing with very easily. I'm now living at what I believe is probably a typical level of stealthness. I'm not out at work or to your average rando on the street, but most of my friends are aware of my history. All of my good friends are. Anybody who I actually go out of my way to hang out with, they all know. And in fact, most of the people who I met because of my history. Everybody that I've had any sort of romantic or physical attraction to, I met in some context where that was very clear. Anyway, my presentation is starting to change, mostly because it doesn't prevent me from passing anymore. So there was a... So before I was able to grow facial hair, and before my voice changed a bit, I'd pretty much have to have my hair very short, and I wouldn't be able to wear a lot of the clothes that I typically have enjoyed wearing because they really hurt me as far as whether or not people read me as male or as something else. So like this getup I'm wearing now, I wouldn't have been able to wear 2 years ago, and now I can, and so I do. Yeah, so my hair's a little longer, and I dress a little bit different. There's a problem with the hair, because for a while it was almost code. My parents would say something like, "Oh, your hair is starting to look good now," and that usually meant your hair is starting to get long, it's starting to get more feminine, and because we don't see you as fully male, we prefer that. So it would cause me to cut my hair, and that hasn't happened this time, so we're going to hope that it doesn't. I think they actually think that my hair is too long now, so it'll probably keep growing. Anyway, as far as physical changes, I don't really notice them most of the time, like I mentioned before. They sneak up on me. I noticed maybe 2 days ago that my facial hair is starting to finally connect to the hair on my head. So if you look, you can only see it very vaguely on the camera, but I'm starting to get this filled in here. I still don't get a mustache, but that's fine because I don't really like mustaches. It's just something to note. I can't grow anything up here. I don't grow much down here or on my cheeks, just a little down here, and then a lot on the chin. So that's probably the most obvious change that you'd notice on camera, is that I'm able to grow more down here. In my last video, I know I had like a little bit here, which I thought was a lot while I was taking the video, and now when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I thought that was a wonderful beard, and it really wasn't. Anyway, let's see what else. I still have a script. The hair on my thighs is filling in. The hair on my arms is getting thicker. I'm getting some hair on my back, not enough to bother me yet, but maybe in the future. I get hair all over my chest. It's thinner on my chest and then very thick on my stomach. Although it's always been thick on my stomach, it's thicker on my stomach. Yeah, my hairline started receding last year. It used to be around, wait, let's see. I have a mole that used to be where my hairline is, so it used to be around there, and it just receded back a little bit on both sides. It's not something that bothers me. It's a fine hairline, if you will. And it stopped for now, at least. It hasn't receded in any measurable quality for several months. And really, hair is the only thing I still notice changing. I don't have differences in muscle mass because I don't exercise enough. I don't notice my voice changing, if it even has, and everything else is just pretty tapered off, which is fine. It's tapered off at a pretty good spot. On the medication side of things, I still got myself intramuscular injections. I changed to Strohecker's Pharmacy because I was going to Walgreens and it was just prohibitively expensive for me, even on my insurance. So I get the stuff that everyone else gets, and my doctor suggested them too. For a while I thought I was starting to get calcifications in the muscles that I was injecting in. I'd push it in and I'd hit like a hard spot, and it was just disturbing. So I started injecting in both legs. So I alternate between legs as well as injection sites on the legs, and those seem to have either gone away or I just haven't hit them in a long time. So that's fine. I use a lot fewer needles because I'm significantly better at giving myself shots. I've had a couple of problems, but I might talk about them in a different video if I muster up the motivation. They are wonderful stories if you are not triggered by talk of needles. But anyway, that's it for my update for today. I'll talk to you again hopefully sometime before next year, but I'm not going to promise anything. So happy trails, and I will see you next time.